Five Leland Live, one more hour to go, and then we got a 3-day weekend, and for me, a few more days of vacation next week. Y'all hang in there, and I'm sure our team will be all over everything. AJ, we're doing best of on Monday, though, aren't we? We don't. I think the whole team's off on Monday, right?
Yes,
Is
everybody's
that
off on
plan?
Monday.
What is our best of? Do we have any best ofs?
I might have to pick something out this weekend. I got to come up here in the morning, and then I'll figure something out tomorrow.
The problem for AJ and I, the way that we do our show is so active and in the moment in the news, and it's my goal with the show. I want everything I said at 2 o'clock to be dated by 5 o'clock because we're up to minute with the latest developments. But then when you go back and try to put together a highlight show, all the information's old, and it's harder for AJ to do that because I don't sit around and interview a bunch of politicians and people that write books.
Yeah, or just to kind of poke fun of you, I have like 5 minutes of commercial spots that you do live reads. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
half
a
of
lot
that's half of the segment.
The show is completely sold out. There's a whole lot of advertisers. Without that though, I would not be here.
Hey, but it works though. I can't complain. It works.
It's called business. It's what we're here for. And yeah, it does. It's a lot. So anyway, just know that we got all that coming up next week. And one more, while we're just goofing, let me just get this in there. Our tickets went on sale for Jawbone Jam today, this morning at 10 o'clock. And let me just repeat for those that hadn't heard yet, we got a massive Jawbone Jam this year. It's our 10th anniversary of the station. And the band that everybody in Birmingham knows from back in the day, Brother Kane, have gotten back together. They're putting a new album out, is my understanding. And I'm not sure if it's going to be ready or they're going to announce it. I think they are when we get closer to May 15th. It's May the 15th, Iron City. And if that's not enough to have Brother Kane headlining the Jawbone Jam this year, our station's birthday party, they're going to have a band with them that they tour with nowadays around the country, Stone Horses. You're going to love them. I've gotten into them since I've been introduced through Brother Kane's folks to this band. They're bringing them along. And then our buddies in Cattle, who also had a reunion this year, got their own following all over Birmingham and the Southeast. They're going to open up for the whole thing. So we got 3 bands that all stood up to help us with Jawbone this year. But the ticketing is all being handled by them in the venue, and we're not in control of that process. But it is online, and it will sell out. We will fill up Iron City so fast with these acts and, of course, our audience. Now, we want our folks to be able to get in because these tickets are going to sell out quickly. So we're urging people that really want to go this year, make your plans and get your tickets because I would imagine just in a few days, that whole place is going to be sold out, and it's going to be difficult to get in there. So it's going to be a crowded event with all of us. Let's put it this way. Brother Kane could fill up Iron City on their own. So could Cattle. So can we. So you put all 3 of us in there, and we're going to have a big night. I'm excited about it. And, again, just to run back through the details, it's May the 15th, Iron City. It's a Friday night, so you ain't got any excuses. Y'all coming out, hear 3 incredible bands, fellowship with us, celebrate our 10th anniversary, and, of course, everything that comes with that. And we'll be ready for you. And the tickets are on sale at ironcity.com. That's an easier place to remember if you just want to jump online and go through their ticketing process. You can always also get them at Ticketmaster. I mean, this is one of those events I can imagine that there'd be people even trying to buy them up and scalp them later. And I don't want y'all to have to get caught up in that stuff. So get your tickets while you can until they're all gone. And I don't imagine they're going to be there long. Iron City, May 15th, Jawbone Jam. Y'all come and hang out with us, and we're going to have a big old time. All right, let's start back at the beginning. I think the biggest story, the whole attitude of the show just changed about 20 minutes ago. We've been ranting and raving and talking a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on with the SAVE Act and where we were heading in. And my cynicism's at an all-time high with the United States Senate. And I just can't trust Thune. And we had these 4 holdouts. And the Republicans didn't even have the numbers to pass it on a simple majority, much less break a filibuster. But then out of nowhere, 1 vote, 1 person changed their commitment, and everything changed. And just last hour, within the last 30 minutes, Susan Collins has decided that she will vote yes on the Save America Act. That gives the Republicans 50. With J.D. Vance, they now have 51. In case of a tie, that's your insurance vote. Now we just got to get it on the floor. To do that, I described this in detail last hour. I'll just give it a surface treatment now. We've got to get around the Democrats' inevitable filibuster, and that's going to largely come up to Thune and how he wants to handle the rules over this matter and really whether he means business. The pressure has to be on him now, full-throated. One, it's a popular issue in the public. The Democrats will be forced to try to stage a talking filibuster against a issue that's popular all over the country. They're just going to look foolish. And I think for them to even filibuster, and they're going to do it because they've got to placate their nut job base that wants everything resisted and fought at every turn, with especially with this administration. And then, of course, there's a lot of money people involved in this. We can't leave them out, that like the rigged system. They've got control that way. And they don't want to see this go to a real Democratic vote where anything can happen. And so, so that is going to be the drama when the Senate gets back. I'll have to plead ignorance. I don't know if they come back next week or if they've got a week off, because I saw somewhere yesterday they didn't have another vote scheduled for 11 days. So they take these regular breaks from time to time, and I got a sense they may be on break next week. But that's going to build to a crescendo soon, and it can't happen fast enough because we've got primary qualification, we got primary elections starting to happen. And I don't know when the provisions of this bill kick in, clearly for the general election, but it's going to be a big deal for this country. So no doubt we'll be talking a lot about that when the bill comes to a head. Now, while we're talking about Congress people, I have not heard the soundbite, but it must be a doozy because I've seen it flash on my screen over here where I've got Fox News pulled up at least 3 times. So let's all enjoy this together. It appears it's going to be good. Occasional Cortex, as she has come to be known here on the show, is apparently speaking to some conference. I believe it's a foreign policy conference, and I think it was in Germany. Anyway, this is a C-SPAN clip where she is asked a question and cannot seem to find a handle on the answer. It reminds me of that beauty pageant chick that couldn't answer the question about maps or some. Remember her, AJ? Some U.S. Americans don't have maps, and like the U.S. and like the Iraq and such as. I hope it's that good. Let's all hear it together.
Offer. And to all of you, and Congressman, I'll start with you, would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a...
Today, Junior!
This is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Man, can you imagine her
and to all of you,
Kamala Harris on the same ticket? I mean, come on, y'all. That was pretty good. Let's compare it, though. Who wore it better? Here's Mrs. This is Miss Teen, South Carolina from back in 2007.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, man, that's a oldie, but I'll never get tired of that. Where's that young lady nowadays? She is missing her calling of not being involved in the political arena. Again, here's a wide-eyed occasional Cortex not knowing a damn thing about Taiwan and trying to herself filibuster to get out of this
offer. And to all of you, and Congressman, I'll start with you, would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a,
Today, Junior!
Somebody threw an Adam Sandler clip in the middle of
this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point, and we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Like such as the Iraq. I wish you had, man, that's so good. That is delicious. Thank you, Occasional Cortex. She's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark, the whole year through. Alabama Gold Refinery bringing you the show tonight. Alabama Gold Refinery. If there's ever a time when you should be frightened because of the future of this country, it's because people like that get elected to make laws. So you better have some gold in case it all goes tits up, and it could any minute now. We are being led by morons in Washington, D.C. So gold is a safe bet. It has outstood more morons than any other investment vehicle probably in the history of mankind. You can read that all the way back to the Bible. Steve and his crew over at AGR will absolutely help you get involved in starting to procure and secure your own gold stash or silver or platinum. They also buy it. They'll trade with you. It's an exchange. It's a very safe place over in Homewood across from the big Regions Bank. Just a really nice central location. You pull right up to the door. They've got all the security features you would expect in a place where you're coming and going with your valuables. And Steve's a great guy. He's an education in and of itself. Just going in there and talking to him about how the commodities work. Gold's been setting some records lately. And so if you're a seller, top dollar right now in the gold market. But if you're a buyer, it's always a good time to buy gold. It just is. That's a fact, Jack. Alabama Gold Refinery, AGR, alabamagoldrefinery.com. Live from the Florida Keys. Back here in just a minute. All right, y'all. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. He ain't taking no mess from you or anybody else. Southern Skies Dermatology bringing you the show tonight. Y'all go get checked for skin cancer and do it soon. I think this is a good time of the year. We haven't been exposed yet. Haven't gotten all sunburned yet, because I'll tell you what, you'll get a lecture. I went in there one time. I'd gotten a little too much. This is a few years ago, and it was back when Dr. Elena and Dr. Keith were there, and she gave me a little talking to. You can't overdo it. You got to do the things to protect yourself, and we all are smarter nowadays about wearing the sunscreen. And as you see, the beautiful sunset there and the Keys going down. And I've been a little overexposed this week, but I've tried to watch it. We're sunscreening now. A couple of days out in the sun after a wintertime, and boy, it can get you real quickly. Usually it's damage that you did years ago, and we weren't as good about it years ago. We didn't do the protections that are kind of common sense nowadays with the hats and the long sleeves and the sun shirts and the protection. So among those things, in addition to just the basic sunscreen stuff, is to get screened, to get checked, to see where you stand. You need a baseline to know how you're doing, and that's what they do for you at Southern Skies. They will check you out head to toe and either give you an all clear, which feels good, or they find something that's completely treatable, and that's good too. It's Southern Skies Dermatology.com. Y'all reach out to them. Great locations all over, and a brand new location coming this year to a new part of town, and I'm excited about that one because it'll be closer to me. Southern Skies Dermatology.com. Okay. Let me I keep going back to the SAVE Act, because that story's just exploded all over as people respond to the vote count in the Senate. That's something that's going to get put off to next week. I have not updated the Guthrie case this hour. We did a little bit of this at the beginning of the show after just weeks of just back-to-back nonstop coverage. Not much changed today. There was a little bit of a wee-wee contest between apparently the sheriff and the feds at one point, with one saying that they had sent gloves to different labs, and the sheriff was sort of trying to Bigfoot the Bigfoot, which is the feds when they come in and try to take over a case. The sheriff completely denied that today. The feds, whoever the insiders were with the federal government, sort of backed off on those assertions. So we don't know, is it a complete circus, or do they have anything? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like they have like I said about 2 days ago, that they have a direction. There was a new video today as they continue to get tips from the public that looked a lot like the guy in the creepy mask. It was closer than the one that came out before that. The guy was about the same stature. He was moving the same way. He didn't have a mask on. The cops are still looking for him. Those videos might wind up being the ultimate break in this whole thing. And who knows where it goes this weekend, but there's that as we get cranked up here and get ready to get on out of here. 545-9950 is the phone number. If you want to get your last shot before the weekend gets here, you better get in here. Gene from Coleman did that. Let's talk to Gene. We'll go back to the phones. Gene, what's on your mind, man?
Wasn't my intent on my call, but I do want to give a plug for your sponsor, AGR. I have done business with them a couple of different times, done a couple of swaps with them. They treated me well. Everything was above board. I highly recommend them.
Love that.
The other thing I want to give you a kudos on is I use your comment about vote recounts, and it shuts the liberals down in their tracks. And I simply say, if you recount illegitimate votes, you get the same illegitimate results.
Exactly. That's a quick way to say it. I like that. Yep.
And then last thing, I think Thune is protecting his Democrats and senators. And here's why I don't think he wants a vote, because if they vote on it, those Democrats are going to be forced to vote against it. And then they've got to go back to their districts, back to their states, and justify why they voted against something that has such overwhelming popularity. And he doesn't want that.
Yeah. And look, they're more afraid of a very vocal and violent minority in their party of thought than they are the mainstream voters. Because even though we like to cite the polling on it and say it's an 80-20 issue, that's true, but it's not an 80-20 issue with a lot of passion. In other words, people generally are reasonable about it when you ask a poll question, but they're not out there ready to burn stuff down over the voter ID. Now, the Republicans might be, the MAGA Nation might be, but the softer people on the Democratic side of things, this is not a burning issue, not even a top 10 with them, so he could probably survive his base, Schumer and the rest. But they're more afraid of the nut part of the base, which will come and try to burn their house down and kill them because these people are crazy.
But I think in some very, very close races, the Republicans could use that as a sledgehammer, against incumbent Democrats.
Yeah,
And he doesn't want to allow that to happen.
Yeah, well, it's a dilemma for them because you've got a rhetorical issue in the coming up midterms, or you lose this machine you built based on voter fraud, and that's what they're up against. If they lose the mechanism they used to cheat, no amount of rhetoric when they go home is going to give them an advantage in the midterms. They're absolutely trying to do this. Good call, though, Gene. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the shout-out for Alabama Gold. Thanks, man, Alabama Gold Refinery, too. Let's go to Greg on a cell phone. He's calling about the filibuster as well. Greg, what's up, buddy?
Good afternoon, guys. Hope you're enjoying the keys.
Oh, yeah.
My thinking, number one, and it kind of, I had to recalibrate for a second. Do you remember the movie Mars Attacks, the parody movie?
Yes, I do.
And what worked against the Martians was playing Slim Whitman.
Yes.
I thought if you'd have played that AOC line one more time, I was thinking I need to pull over so I don't cause a 20-car pileup when my head explodes.
Yeah,
so
it was bad.
I had to recalibrate for a second. I wasn't sure where I was. I wasn't sure who I was. I had to check my wallet, check my ID. No, seriously. Would Thune and the Republicans be able to, and I can't say I know enough about Robert's Rules of Order newly revised to say, yeah, they can do this. Would the Republican majority set the parameters for the filibuster?
Oh, yeah. See, it's just a Senate rule, and really any majority can change it on a whim. And I think it's even subject to, in some cases, it's subject to the, quote, call of the chair. And so the leader may be able to just establish the rules for debate when it comes up anyway. And so Thune's got a lot of latitude here to pull that off.
For my idea to work, okay, all right, Schumer, choose your two best, and you get 7 minutes each. You can rotate. You get 2 minutes between, and again, that may be a little too much, but for it to work, like, okay, you get two people. They can go as long as they want, but they get no more than 7 minutes at a time, and no more than 2 minutes between each. I mean, that may be too draconian, and that I'm sure that would raise everybody's hackles, and everybody would just be apoplectic about it. But I mean, hey, if you want to do it, you go right ahead. We're keeping the time. We're here. 7 minutes. You can speak no more than 7 minutes, and you get 2 minutes in between. Again, I don't know that ever happened, but
I think that's
you get
balanced.
to set the rules. I would make the rules as uncomfortable as possible.
Well, the way to make it uncomfortable is to let them. You declare a standing filibuster, that the technical filibuster is not legitimate for this vote, and then they've got to send one person down to manage to be the filibuster designee on the behalf of the Democrats, and that person better have a hell of a bladder, and they have a hell of a strategy to hold the floor. So that's where you get into the physical stamina of outlasting them. So I think
how long did Spartacus go? I can't remember.
I think Spartacus went. I'll have to look that up. I think he went 16 hours, or maybe it was longer than that. What is Spartacus's name? I forget. Senator. What is that?
Cory Booker.
Cory.
Booker.
Here it is. That came right up. He did 25 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay.
Speaking from the floor on March 31st. So that's the most they got is Cory Booker's bladder. Who do you think has the best bladder on the Democrat side? Let's talk about that on the other side. 545-9950, bottom of the hour. Here we go, Leland Live. All right, one more time for Stockton Mortgage for the week. This is the place that you need to call tonight or tomorrow night or whenever it strikes you. If you've got a notion to do something with a mortgage, whether buy your first home or if you're a veteran and you want to qualify for those programs, or maybe it's time to use some of that equity to get rid of some crazy debt for more responsible debt, payable debt, using your mortgage. It can be smart. There's so many strategies and angles, and everybody's situation is different. So reach out to Stockton and let them start working with you. They're even though Thomas is not on with me tonight, he's probably busy with somebody wrapping them up before the weekend, but they work all the time. So if you get online and go to the phone number or reach out to them that way, they'll get back with you and get started. SaveWithStockton.com for whatever you're trying to do this year with your mortgage. SaveWithStockton.com. Man, we got a full bank of calls and maybe one line open if y'all want to get in. I think this filibuster thing got a lot of attention with the Susan Collins move. Before we do anything else, though, one other little headline. I just noticed this out of Havana, Cuba. Their largest and oldest refinery is now on fire. Cuba is in trouble. Economically, they're teetering. They've been cut off from the Venezuelan oil, and now they've had this refinery fire, probably with their dilapidated infrastructure. Man, wouldn't it be nice if they could get rid of that communist regime and turn that place into a free democracy, and maybe we could go there for a live radio show sometime. Anyway, this thing is flat up burning, and it is a massive smoke column that's going up into the sky. AJ, I wonder if I can see it from here. If it's too dark, I think it's too dark to see from here. I would pan the camera around and see if we could find it. But it's probably 90 miles away at least. All right, here is, let's go to Tom in Madison. We'll start right there on line 3. Tom, what's on your mind tonight, buddy?
I'm not a smart man, but help me understand. If we can't prove who is voting and have identification of them, and we can't have chain of custody of those votes, we're just fighting. What are we doing? Help me understand this.
Well, I mean, it's not logical, and I can't help you understand it. It's as simple as they've created systems where there's no veracity on the vote, so they can shove fake votes in, and that's it. That's all it's about. There is no valid argument for not securing the elections. They don't have one. This week they've tried to say, Hillary Clinton, this insidious pantsuit-wearing hag came out and said 70 million people, women, she's suddenly pulling the woman card now. I thought they didn't know what a woman was, but anyway, she said that 70 million women may lose their right to vote because of things like name changes if you get married or something like that. It's so stupid. I think she thinks women are stupid. The women aren't stupid enough to believe that. She's insane.
I just don't know where our country's going if we can't demand identification,
right,
and we can't maintain custody, chain of custody, just like in a court of law. So, God bless and happy Friday.
There's Tom tonight getting his last shot in. Let's get Captain Kirk in here, line 4. What's up, Captain?
Hey, Leland. Thanks for taking my call. I was just sitting here. The past 3 to 4 weeks, I have been wearing out Senator Thune and all of the Republicans on X and on emails trying to get it to the point where it's at, or at least doing my fair share. But when I heard that Susan Collins was the one that made 50, that just throws up red flags to me like there's nobody's business. As milquetoast and as weak-kneed as Thune is, I'm just cynical enough to believe that he's not going to push for the standing filibuster, that he's just going to claim tradition and let it stay with the 60 vote. What do you think?
I'll tell you, my distrust in him matches yours, and what I've described with the standing filibuster is how it would work. The best shot would be for him to do that, let the thing happen. The Republicans outlast him. JD swoops in for 51 votes, and we're done. But I do not trust Thune. It's why we put up such opposition to him as majority leader anyway, and the senators failed to put a fighter in there. They put an establishment guy in there, and he's weak. So we'll see if he steps up. Yep. Maybe the pressure will get to him, and there'll be immense pressure in the next several days, especially since he can't claim that he doesn't even have a majority. He has a majority now.
Absolutely. And to that end, too, in the comments you made about our pantsuit-wearing hag in former office, Hillary.
Yep.
Terry Sewell's been putting out those same claims for the past 2 weeks now. And I've been blowing her up every chance I get. So I appreciate the show. Thanks to you and AJ, and stay away from that Key West ganja.
Oh, look out now. I am just inside minding my business. All right. Thanks, Captain Kirk. There. All right. Before I get Henry, I'm constantly watching the news, even while I'm scrolling around here talking. Apparently, there's some activity in Pima County right now. A bomb squad truck has taken off. This happened the other night when they went and harassed poor old Carlos. That had nothing to do with it, apparently. But apparently, the SWAT team is taken off, and they are staged to surveil a person of interest in Tucson. So could this be some movement in the case? Have they developed a person of interest? When they left out of there with the SWAT team the other night, they also took the bomb squad truck with them. There are a number of reasons that they do that. They don't know what kind of standoff or situation they're going to get into. And we don't know if they think they're going into a rescue of Nancy Guthrie or if they're just going into a standoff with an individual that's involved. We'll update you on that between now and 6 as we get news coming across in this moment. Right now, we're going to go to our buddy Henry. He's over on line 2. Henry, the floor is yours, my man.
And thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to your wife and all of your loved ones that you're going to be giving all that chocolate out to. It bothers me some that Schumer sure is going to be thankful for having her speak as she does. But then again, we only see clips of Cass Cortez when she is, reading or practiced. We don't see her on the fly that often like she had to at that, what you just played. That is gold, and Schumer sure is happy about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Look, you pointed out something good. The mainstream Democrats, those old leaders, they can't stand this woman. She is wrecking everything, and she appeals to the nut jobs in her base. And as long as she's running around in America talking in bumper stickers and throwing out lazy rhetoric for people that don't know any better, she gets away with it. You put her in an intellectual forum where she's got to discuss foreign policy, and she turned into goo. So there it is. We knew. We all knew. Yep.
I've been hearing a clip of her saying we need a wealth tax, and we don't need a president or anybody else to do it. Obviously, she can do it all by herself. But it gets to be old news. Constantly, tax and spend, tax and spend. That's all. What is wrong with the Republicans? I know, I'm speaking to the choir here. But, it gets old with the Republicans, too, Leland. And last, before I go, I have to mention, I think the fight is where we're going. This guy, Tallarico, James Tallarico out of Texas, running against Jasmine Crockett, trying to, have you listened to any of the things he said about Christian nationalism?
No, I'm not up on any of that stuff. I haven't kept up with any localized races around the country at all, actually. Not at this point, anyway.
Yeah, he said that Mary was asked if she would get pregnant by God, not that, it was all that it's written. He even tells us to go to Luke chapter 3, where it is. I'd like to speak to it more some other day, but if you go, because I think there's a real battle going here. This is one of the last things I'm tired of hearing from the left. We heard it with Obama. Obama actually said he didn't like that guy in the Bible of I forgot his name myself. Paul. He didn't like Paul. And then, of course, they voted and hollered and booed God, but voted 3 times to remove God from the platform. Then, you had the guy who couldn't fill the guy who left the transportation sector in such a pothole from his area.
Oh, Buttigieg.
Buttigieg started giving the same thing. And also I don't know if anybody heard this, during the vice president debate, one of the last things Tampon Timmy said was that in Matthew 25, that they were talking about immigration. And immigration, Leland, there's nothing wrong with our laws on immigration. Edward Kennedy liberalized our immigration laws to such an extent. The last thing we should do is allow any Democrat to get near the laws for immigration again, because they've ruined this country the way they were doing. If you get a chance, I don't know if you can still find it, but there's a great movie called The Glass Wall. The Glass Wall. It's an immigration movie set in black and white from the old days when you had to have a sponsor to get into this country, and after the war and everything. And it was a great movie. A little boring because of the subject matter, but it was. I'm losing my voice. That can't happen.
Henry, I get you. I hope you're doing all right, man. I appreciate you checking in with us tonight. We just got to get through this break, but I appreciate all your input. Hope you're feeling better, man. Get to feeling better. All right, there's Henry tonight. EcoView Windows and Doors, y'all. Let Becky's company come out and take a look at your house. We've got these vacillations in the temperature. We had that cold snap, and now it's warmed back up. We'll get slapped again in the face before it's over. In either season, whether it's the heating season or the cooling season, if you've got leaky single-pane windows, that air is leaving your house, and so is your money. Becky and her team said they can save you 35% on your heating and air bills. Have y'all gotten your power bill yet? It's like a meme I saw today. You're going, don't be high, don't be high. And you get ready to open it. Don't be high. Then you open it, and there's a picture of Snoop Dogg. Oh, it's high. 30. Did you hear that idea? Or Willie Nelson, you could exchange the two. It's high. And 35% of that would save you a significant amount of money, especially over 12 months. They sell superior window products, and they're ready to get you outfitted too. It's ecoviewwindows.com. Online, let them come to your house and give you a free estimate. ecoviewwindows.com. AJ, I kept my shot up because I'm looking for the Cuban oil fire, but it's too far away, I think. Did you see me scanning around? I was trying to see if we could find it.
I did.
Big story out of Cuba tonight. All right, back in a minute to wrap things up. Y'all stay tuned. Leland Live. All right, one more time this week for storm restoration and my man Greg Nelson and all that he can do for you if you wind up in a roof situation. Now, there are a couple of ways that happens. One, you just got an old roof that needs to be replaced and you keep staring at it knowing it's got to happen. He's got finance companies. If you just want to get that done before something does start leaking or it gets worse, he's got finance companies that can do that entire project depending on the budget for your project and what's involved. Greg's just good like that. He tries to find ways to help his customers get through it. He gets it. Nobody wants to deal with spending money on a roof or it's just it can be a cumbersome thing and a nervous thing when they come to your house to tear it all off and get it all back. But his company's just good like that. That's why he's in his 30th year in business or almost to the end of 30 full years in business, getting up there and getting it done, doing it right with the best materials, the best installation techniques. You got to do that kind of stuff correctly, or the insurance companies will not honor warranties. Well, the product manufacturers won't honor warranties on the products if it's not installed correctly. So, one, you're going to get good work from a family-owned business, 2 generations. They're just going to work hard and clean up after themselves, and you're going to love your new roof. The other circumstance, of course, is an emergency. A storm comes through. We're about to head into the storm season, the biggest one of the year, is sort of between now and the end of spring, sometime in May, and y'all know how it gets. If you wind up with some missing shingles or something on top of your house and you got to get your roof straightened out, y'all reach out to Greg and he'll get you through that process, especially dealing with the insurance companies and all their requirements and your deductibles. Same thing with the finance company. They can help you with that and make sure that that's good to go for you too. Y'all, it's the turnkey place to get all this stuff done, and Greg's a guy you can trust. He's one of us, and he'll be here to help you up and down the road too. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. He works on a phone number, and every night when I give you this number, I always tell you to put it in if you got emergency contacts somewhere in your phone, put it in your phone so you have it. If you can't find me in the off hours, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. So we've got 2 sort of developing stories, even this late on a Friday, and I'll go back through some of those. A massive oil refinery in the middle of Cuba right now with a towering black smoke into the sky. They don't have a whole lot of oil refineries. Forever, part of our military operations, should we ever have to create a blockade or do anything with Cuba, has been to cut off their refining capacity. They were largely getting their oil. Those refineries are tooled to deal with Venezuelan oil because they had such a relationship with the Venezuelans. That's been cut off, and now they've lost this refining capacity at a time when they've got other infrastructure challenges. Again, it's a communist nation, and they don't know how to run things. They're not good at running things. They never have been. So could this be the beginning of the end for Cuba? A lot of folks think Cuba's in play with all the myriad of international negotiations going on right now around the world. And even the Iranian pressure right now plays into the politics of Cuba. You've got a lot of freedom-minded Cuban Americans here in this country that would love to see that regime be toppled and freedom for their people. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Not that this fire has anything directly to do with us or any intent. It could just be an industrial accident, but it's also going to add to the calculation in that country. Okay, so we got that going on. Then the other big story in the last hour and a half is Susan Collins, of all people, decided to cross over and vote yes on the Save America Act. That has created quite a political calculation here in the country. We've talked quite a bit about it here in the last hour or so. That gives the Republicans 50 plus the vice president, that's 51. They now have a majority. They could pass the SAVE Act the minute it hits the floor. Will it hit the floor? What about the filibuster? Standing or a zombie filibuster? Will there be one at all? What is Thune going to do? The pressure's now on him when the Senate gets back in session. And somewhere I think I read in the back of my mind, I think they're out for a whole nother week. So we don't know when we'll ever see the drama start to build on this. But the pressure needs to continue on the leadership there from the whole country. So if you're involved in that, be nice, be polite, communicate to your senators and anybody you can on this issue. We got to make some noise to get them to do the right thing. The establishment does not want this. And based on something Henry said in the previous call, let me just get these thoughts out and we'll kind of leave it at that. we get so caught up in Democrat versus Republican when we talk about Washington politics, and it's really not that at all. It's actually establishment versus everybody else in a lot of ways. And it's people that are comfortable with the way the system's run. And those people like Thune and others are just as soon be in the minority. They would just as soon not have the responsibility of governing. You get the same pay, you got the same staff, you still have the same status back home being their senator without all the responsibilities. So sometimes that becomes a factor. And I think some of these lazier establishment types that are grooming themselves for future employment and more stock trades and getting their spouses hired, they like the system the way it is. They don't want disruption. And you come along with a bill that's this bold, and it makes them uncomfortable. They're just not used to the fight environment, no matter what they say in their campaign ads. And that could be what we're up against when the Senate comes back into session. So that was story number 2 this hour that really got attention. The third one, of course, is some amount of activity. And let me double check over here on the news wires and see where we are on this. Apparently there was some police activity in Pima County. This is near Tucson. SWAT team deployed, and they took a bomb truck with them again. We've seen them make this move during the week. We don't know what the feds are doing because, as you know, we've got the local police, and then, of course, we got the feds running around in that area too. So, yeah, we're watching this activity right now. Apparently, reports came out that there was just a person of interest that they were going to deal with, confront, or something. I don't think we're going to get closure on whatever that lead is in the amount of time that we have left, but that's what was just developing out in Pima County, out in Arizona. It said bomb squad trucks rolling out, potential suspect somewhere in the area near Tucson. So we'll see how that rolls out. Let's see if we can get, I tell you what, let me tell you all about Hueytown Pawn, and then we'll see if we can squeeze Andy in here real quick. Man, they've still got those AR-12s. Those are AR shotguns, AR style bodies in a shotgun format. And they have been wildly popular over at Hueytown Pawn. And the way Tommy does it is he'll get allotment, put a special price on it just to get you to take the drive over to Hueytown and come see the store. And once you do and get to know him, this will be another place you can always shop for anything you want in the way of guns. But these are nice looking weapons, G-Force AR-12s, different color variations. They got a few in the tungsten gray still, so you might be able to snag those if they aren't gone by now. But when they're gone $279. You cannot beat that price. Hueytown Pawn over in Hueytown on Brook Lane Drive. Hueytown Pawn. Y'all go see them. Get them while you can. I bet they're gone by this weekend. Y'all bought the first whole shipment up in a matter of like 2 days. All right, Andy, let's see if we can do Andy for like 60 seconds. Go, Andy, on a cell phone.
Hey, Leland, I don't even need that. I saw on TikTok earlier, and I haven't looked at any articles about it. The Sydney Opera House had a major fire today.
Really?
Yeah.
That is an icon. That is the iconic building in all of Australia, I would dare say. I'll have to look that up. That's crazy, man.
No,
yeah.
that was AI generated. That's not.
Oh, well,
was it?
Yeah, that would be all over the news if that was the case.
I agree. Yeah, I think I probably would have noticed it. All right, never mind.
Thanks,
sorry, Andy. All right, AJ, you have a good week, and we will see y'all soon. Live from the coast.
All right, stay tuned for Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.